All right, so I'm back again, Andre from Bullseye llc, gun manufacturer, fabricator, designer. Uh, do a little bit of gunsmithing, or wrap it up everything guns. That makes it simple. But now I have to the left of me today is my cousin and best man. The reason I wanted to bring Bryan onto the show, and I'll allow you to introduce yourself in a moment, is because you play a role into this business that you probably didn't realize, and I'm gonna have to make sense of it today. But before I do that, I want to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself.
Yeah, so like you said, my cousin Andre, I'm Brian Anthony Brown. Um, he just asked me to come here and talk with him about his business and how I play a part in it, and I'm here for it.
So I named this segment of these two interviews that I'm doing today is Meet the Family, and the reason I named it Meet the Family is because my family is a huge asset with resources, information, whether it's physical or just intellectual. And Brian, you have been that in multiple encounters, whether it's passive or whether it's intentional, through my journey and growing this business and taking it to the next level. Resources come in all different types of forms, whether it's financial resources, whether it's intellectual resources, or even just discourse, right? A lot of times we spend a lot of, especially prior to your transition or your evolution, we spent a lot of time together. And during that time that we spend together, it always at some point in time came full circle and we started talking about money and finances. And one thing that I've always felt comfortable about you with you disclosing is finances because you always had this discipline about yourself when it came to financial restraint. And so I wanted to, if you can't talk about it, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll tiptoe around it and then I'll allow you to elaborate. So every February, and correct me if I'm wrong, you do a detox of
Yeah,
some
yeah.
sort. So what is that?
So
What does that mean?
that kind of just started with when I was still living at home with my parents, and one year they was always sort of healthy, not health nuts or anything, but one year they just decided to do a detox. I was still living there, so I kind of did it with them, and then ever since then, when I moved out on my own, I just took it. I just couldn't. I was still, younger, having a little fun, bars, this and that. So when January came around, after the New Year celebration, I wasn't ready to do detox. But in February, I would just start my own and just kind of reset my clock for the year. Just get my body right, get my mind right. Just kind of came along with it, get back in the gym, but just kind of start my clock there. If I hadn't already in other months, if I felt like I was falling off, that was just a way to get my year back going.
Well, when I'm laughing because I'm thinking we party hard, and when I say party hard, we party like rock stars, and people don't understand what I'm saying because they look at me now, and they probably look at you as you transition into adult more of a. And when I use the word adulthood, I'm using it in the sense of maturity,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
age,
no, I know.
because we were adults, but we were partying like rock stars, and I'm talking about 7 days a week, no sleep, and it's like let's see how much of whatever we're gonna get ourselves into. And I don't detox during February. I do different types of fasting at certain times of my life for spiritual cleansing and for spiritual clarity. But there's times I was ready to turn up in February, and you're like, bro, I'm not
Yeah, I
drinking.
just
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm not partaking in anything. So my level of respect for you to go, and I always picked with you about, of course you're going to detox on the shortest month of the year, whether it was 28 days or however many days that play out in February. But the mere fact that you were would go, and I think it still continues to this point in your life as well, that everything stops. Like it's like cold turkey, and you're able to do it. You can party, 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 and then it's like, bam, February comes and it just stops.
yeah, and once I stop, it's like February's the shortest month or whatever. I just do it because it followed January, like I said. But it'll carry on. Sometimes it's 2 months, sometimes it's three. It's just like it's never really. Oh, I need to like once you stop and you start going, you find out your life is getting better, or you're more focused, I guess.
Mm.
And then you pick up a beer here and there, and you kind of fall off in a sense. But it's definitely a good way to reset. And Yeah, I do still continue it though, and I usually for the month of February, though, as far as liquids, I just only drink water. I'm getting to be a little bit of a coffee drinker now. That I'm getting a little older, but yeah, it's just mostly water and some coffee now.
Makes sense. Um, there's times we vacation out of the country together multiple times. We took day trips together, and there's hours where it's just you and I, and we're talking about manipulating. And when I use manipulating, being strategic with credit card spending, manipulating our income. And again, when I say manipulate, I mean being strategic with purpose.
Yeah.
Spending with purpose, purchasing with purpose, saving with purpose. And you always had a vision and always had a goal of what you were saving for and what you had to deprive yourself of in order to accomplish it.
So I hear terms now like delayed gratification is like one I hear a lot in podcasts and stuff I listen to, but I didn't realize that's what it was then. I think I got it from my mother early on. She put me on her as an authorized user on a credit card when I was like 14. So she's probably where I got most of my financial expert from. Like, well, not expert, but where I got what you see in me, I got a lot of that from her. So I didn't really know it then, and I'm still learning and growing, trying to figure it out. But I can look back now and realize that's who I got my better financial skill set from. I still do a little bit of reckless spending, and I can attribute that to my father probably more so.
and it's cool because, like you were saying, and I watch a lot of different financial or listen to people talk about financial tricks. And I don't want to say that it wasn't there because you obviously discovered it from some way, and I discovered it from you, where we used to talk about, and you can give the terminology to it of how we pay. When you talk about having multiple credit cards with different credit limits, with different debt variations of how you went to accomplish of eliminating that debt in an X period, a period of time, and literally accomplishing that.
It's a few different ways to do it, but as far as how you had just said before, like the depriving part of it, like, but once you set a goal and you know where your money's going to, it's very easy to accomplish. So if your money is just you're setting that savings goal just to pay down debt, it becomes just as easy. Or if you think it a little further and you're trying to figure out how to pay some down while still trying to manipulate it, how do I get this money to grow bigger in another way? I accomplished my first single family flip rehab, buy it cheap, fix it up, sell it back in 2019, 2020, and I used a lot of lines of credit and credit card loans with 0%, 1% interest rates for 18, 24 months. But again, all that goes back to my mother having put me on as an authorized user at 14, so my credit's just been built up since before I even had to start at it.
Shout out to Aunt Millie.
Yes.
So, right, that's the plug. And let me say this. More black, stable, whether stable or not stable, parents need to do exactly what Millie did.
And I have two young sons now. One's about to be 2 and one's 4 months. The 2-year-old already, Isaiah, he's an authorized user already at 2 on my card. So that just actually gives me a little more drive not to mess up my credit.
So help the viewers understand why that makes sense. If they don't understand why putting a 2-year-old or a 14-year-old boy who's reckless, who's going to eventually become a rock star on your credit card as an authorized user.
I mean, you got to be disciplined enough in yourself and know that you can't just be screwing up because you'll tank them and it'll probably be harder on them when they get older. But, we live in a world where credit is, whether you like it or not, is beneficial. And when you can use credit as a tool. So it's just, if you can use it the right way, it can boost. Like I said, I was able to complete a flip and, with $40,000, $50,000 worth of repairs, majority on credit.
Mm-hmm. Which those are financial tricks. So I'll give you a few seconds or whatever, however long you need to talk about what you do. What is Fix and Flip?
So, Fix and Flip is just a business a friend of mine and myself started up. She came to me with an idea. I kind of already had it in my head that I wanted to do one. She came to me and was like, all right, let's just partner up. And it just, it just naturally evolved and we were able to start a business with it. But I'm a landlord investor for 10, 12 years now. So that was kind of a natural progression. 2 kids just came along more recently that kind of right around COVID. So everybody, I just got more into family now. So the business slowed down, but definitely buy and hold long-term real estate is my main goal, but I am still trying to grow Fix and Flip as a business.
So you acquire properties.
Acquire them cheap, fix them up, sell them. Yeah.
Makes sense. And as we're going through our lives as young adults, I mean, you were talking about we have been around each other pretty much our entire lives. Where we played video Dreamcast together, we played
Yeah.
PlayStation. Like right after I used to pick me up in the morning, and I would skip school, and we would be the first ones in line, sleeping outside of GameStop and GameSpot, whatever they were
Yeah,
called, to
don't.
get the.
Just got a couple looks off camera, but that was just a couple occasions. But we all grew into responsible adults, so it worked out.
So that's how far back we go, and when I birthed Bullseye llc as a business, it came with financial responsibilities. And anytime you start a new venture, it came with financial responsibilities. And I was figuring out, how am I going to make this dream or this vision in my head work? And you had just acquired those properties with no money off of all credit, and you gave me a gym. You was like, cuz, you called me up, there's such and such, meet with him, talk to him, you're going to fill out an application. And with that blessing, I was granted $75,000, which took my business from here to here. And now that I have established business credit, the goal is now to take the business to the next level. And it was because of having that relationship with you. And that's why I say I attributed a lot of the success, because without that $75,000, I don't have the finances to invest $10,000 in guns, or invest in equipment or tools, safes, anything that requires marketing, advertising, all that stuff that goes into it comes from an extension of that line of credit, which is why I brought you up here to show you and to give you to honor you and saying thank you for giving me that opportunity to allow my dreams and visions to come to fruition.
I mean, I never really thought it through on your end, so I'm just happy to have been able to.
So let them know where they can find you, what you do, if you whether it's social media, website, or whatever it is.
I mean, you can find me on Facebook, Bryan Anthony, BryanAnthony. You can find me on Instagram, There's Still Time, THERES _ still STILL _ time TIME _ so 3 underscores. There's Still Time is just kind of always something I've been saying since I was younger, usually related more to like late nights and longer parties, but now actually it's funny that I still use There's Still Time. It's just the progression of my life. Like, I can still accomplish anything I want. You can, because there's still time. As long as I'm here, I wake up every morning, I can do something more.
That's dope bar, because it didn't make sense when I looked at it as and it's crazy. It didn't make sense when I looked at it as your Instagram name, but subconsciously you've been saying that we would go on vacation, we would be partying like rock stars. You'd be like, all right, we got 3 left.
There's still time.
There's still time. And then we was in Canada. There's still time. Mexico. There's still time. And I'm like, but I don't want it to come to an end. Don't think about it like that. There's still time. And then we would just go through life. So that's definitely a dope way to go through life. Even if we're thinking about accomplishing goals.
Yeah.
Right? Until you're dead, until it's completely solidified that it's over for you, there's still time.
As long as I don't stop, I wake up every day. As long as I want to do a little more, then there is still time. So as long as you don't lose your drive, your passion, you might have some days or times where you feel a little down and don't do as much, but as long as you keep pushing forward.
I'm about to steal that and spin it into a bar. So if anybody out here watching this podcast or watching us talk, and you have any goals, dreams, aspirations that you have yet to accomplish, just know that tomorrow, if you wake up, there's still time, and I'll leave you with that.